she said, why don't you tell them people on your YouTube channel, the one on the left, said, why don't you explain this shop to them, to your subscribers? And occasionally happens by. And I will. This shop goes from that wall right there over to this wall right here. I built this structure. Was nothing here. Some, 20 years ago or so, if you're doing the math, you know what I mean? A long time ago. And it's 2 times as long as it is this way. It's perfect for a work area here in this U shape. And through the years, I counted them up in my house. I counted the engines that I have to move to Tennessee, and there's 20 engines on carts that I have to move up there. Man, that's going to be a job. Nice engines. You just can't throw them on there willy-nilly, You got to, each one of them has to have its own little place. But slowly, anyways, I think I've got all the Maytags loaded. I think all the Maytag engines will be up there this low. Middle Tennessee. But this shop right here, I built a lot of stuff in this shop here. Steam engines, some hot air engines, rebuilt numerous amount of magnetos, buzz coils, built battery boxes for a time, built carts for a time. To build a complete engine cart out the door, ready to use, that's a pretty good accomplishment. To start with nothing. Roll my own tar for the wheels, cut the spokes, weld it up, and build the cart. That's quite an accomplishment. And I've probably built, maybe in this shop right here, at least 20, because I sold some carts one time. It was a good deal for me and him both, and I even delivered them. Went to Dixie Gun Works that day, met the dude up yonder at Union City, and handed them carts off to him. He paid me the money, and then he and I went in the museum at Union City at Dixie Gun Works, and I recommend that museum for anybody to, as a destination. You know what I mean? Just get in the vehicle and drive ever how many miles it is till you need to get there. And one time, I tell you what, I'll tell you something I remember. There was a time that I lived in Nashville, Tennessee, up north side there, Gallatin Way. And I had a 1947 Plymouth Coupe. Original car, 6-cylinder, flathead cast iron thing. That was my transportation. That was my ride of the day. It was really low. But anyways, I drove that 1947 Plymouth from Nashville up at Gallatin all the way to Union City to buy a muzzle loading rifle kit, which I did and built it. Somebody out there in the world owns it. It was a good job. But I actually went there in that 1947 Plymouth. A few people can say that. I remember it was a joyful trip. I enjoyed it, but it was hard on the car because it was original. The car didn't want to run fast, you know what I mean? And it was all lowered down, heated the springs. It looked good. It was a green car. I think I traded it to a 1965 Mustang, if I'm not mistaken. But I had done already molded in the front end. It looked like a dang shark coming down the road. You know what I mean? Put a scoop out there on it, up sweep from the bottom. Looked pretty good. Anyway, somebody wanted to buy it because of that. So there was 2 of us in the world liked it. But anyways, you know, here I am on the east coast of Arkansas today, and I have been in my backyard, and it only goes from right over there to right over here. Y'all remember we took that walk that time in the dark. Check the playlist backwards, and we'll walk from here to the back door there. It's quite interesting. Take a trip with me or something's the name of it. But it only goes from fence to fence 4 times. I've outgrown it many years ago. But the shop has had so much stuff in it. I mean, I'm taking down the shelves. You know what I mean? I'm going to move this building to the bare walls. You know, actually, probably might even paint it in here for the new owner. But it's really no time frame to move this, so you know, a little bit at a time. But man, that orange gets heavy really quick, I'll tell you that. I'll tell you something else too. Well, we've got a couple of Millers sitting in tonight along with Isabella. Oh, that's old school right there. God, you got to love them iridescent lights. You know what I mean? When they phase them out, oh, they done a bad thing. They done injustice to mankind. The inspiration that you get from a iridescent light, oh, it's mesmerizing. You know it yourself. So I'm not going to blame it on the government for the phase out. You know, lobbyists, somebody come along wanting to make a new light bulb, make a bunch of money, you know, bulb lasts a lifetime. Well, you know, I want to change my bulb every now and then, you know. But that was she said, what kind of lead-in you going to have to talk about that? And this shop right here, through the years, I have improved this shop so much that I can heat this shop here on the east coast of Arkansas. I can heat this shop and keep everything in it from rusting with a 100-watt light bulb on the coldest of days. And that's the key to rust, is to keep it dry. I mean, if it gets moisture on, it's going to rust. It just don't matter. You know what I mean? That's what it's iron oxide. Metal reacts with whatever's in the water. H2O or some kind of something takes place there. Look it up, you know. I'm just saying, as I'm moving, I have already moved my bulbs to Middle Tennessee. And there was the bulb I had here had burned so many long time. I mean, I was well pleased with whatever I paid for that bulb. I got my money's worth of it. And in the meantime, the point I'm making is, if you sat down and figure out how much a kilowatt of electricity cost at your house, okay, you say, well, you know, and that's here. Well, I'm not going to go off on that trip about Arkansas having low electric rates, because it's the total amount. You take ever how much, the way you know how much your electricity cost. Simple math. You take how many kilowatts you used, you know, and divide that into how much your monthly bill was, and that tells you how much it costs per kilowatt of power for that month that you paid. Simple. Easy to do. Okay, if I burnt a 100-watt light bulb in this shop right here, it would keep it warm and rust-free. Okay, and I got the benefit of the light along with the fluorescence and the inspiration. I mean, I think probably Henry Ford, you know, Edison, even Nikola Tesla. You know what I mean? When that bulb was hanging down wherever they was studying, you know, there it is, a bare bulb. You see it in the background of most photographs. Well, that was the machine age just coming there, and it was because part of it was because of that bulb. They are so inspiring. Do you agree? Leave a comment. Man, she said, "What are you gonna call this episode?" So, probably if we had a fire. I've got this trick lighter too. I don't know how I got this lighter. I think I found it. I'm pretty sure that I found this lighter in the parking lot. Just picked it up, and it looked like a brand spanking new one when I came in possession of it. And but I never could get it to work, and I figured that was the reason somebody threw it away. And, I fiddled with it, and I laid it up for some time and thought about it, and I think, well, I'll take a screwdriver or a pliers, and I'll take that thing off right there, and, see why it won't light. Well, I was fidgeting around with it, thinking, what happened, and there's it's L shape. And what you do is if you got one of these and you don't know how to get it to go, you push this over to the left and up, looking at it from me. Okay, now it's good for one click, and then when it clicks, it resets itself, and it's a safety thing there, But anyways, okay, see, it worked. So, we'll just call this Far Side Chat. Inspired by, I don't know, and what I was going to tell you, stop the presses. What I was going to tell you is, when I went in the house there to see that I have to see about a bulb, okay, I couldn't find one. And the one I had out here, like I say, it blowed after many years of service. Constant use. And I scared the house completely, and you replace one you fall for it. The best you can do, you're going to screw one of them fluorescent bulbs in. You know what I mean? You can fight it to the end, but you're down there buying them, and there they are, and it sounds good, and they got a pretty color big box and everything, so you end up with them fluorescent bulbs in all of your house. And I had one in a closet that was left over. I think it's probably a 60-watt iridescent. It was perfect. It was the white globe. This one right here, oh, lucky me, I just happened to think of it, that there ought to be a light in my stove. And this right here is out of my stove there. I just twisted it out there on a loaner. But it puts out very little bit of heat. It's the wattage, and it's a clear bulb. I don't care for it. But I'll leave a comment. Just leave a comment. But I am going to have to get serious about this, moving this shop here. Man, there's a lot of stuff left here. Man, got that truck loaded down. Trailer too. I got about maybe 10 Maytags in there, Man, I'll be rolling on 20s tomorrow. Man, rolling on 20s. I never would have thought it of me. I'm 560 15s, 14s, 560 14s, you know what I mean? Run a 500 16 on the back old Harley, one of them. I think it was a 500 16-inch would fit that old hardtail frame, but you could get most any tread pattern you wanted, and it was bias ply tars at the time. I know they were, but it looked good going down the road. Just saying. It's not the problem of moving this stuff. The problem is I don't have anywhere to put it once I get it there. You know what I mean? I don't have a building. I don't have a roof. I don't have a shop. Man, I'm gonna have to work on that. Gosh, times is tough. Man, Christmas right here and all that. Man, I'm just saying. Already trimmed the lights, and going to sign out over there on the wall. Call it a day. But I was just thinking, and I done already quizzed it to the parrot there. I done already said, hey parrot, hey, ain't said a word. Like tomorrow, how about when will I decide that the day's over with and I call it a day, go and do something else entirely different than what you've been doing, Like a little bit ago I was busy cleaning up over there. I mean, it's by instinct. I've done it every night for years. Man, the things I have built and repaired in this shop right here, for me, is really unbelievable. I mean, to put that engine on that milling machine over there, set it up sideways, and drill that block out, and put that thread insert in there, in that grizzly-milling-machine right there, that is pretty darn good in any machinist book. I'm just saying, go back and check the video. It was really good, even if I hadn't have done it. Anyone could do the same thing and may have done that. But that's a good way to save them blocks. Just set it up in there, line it up. And, after I got it all done and got it out there where I could put a measurement on it, it was within a thousandths or so. I mean, that's a little better than I normally do. You know what I mean? Most of the time I just go by eyesight. If it looks good, sell it. But, just saying, it's a pretty good machine. But I have to have somewhere to put that once I get it moved. Yeah. But I may move that now. And I ought to put it on the truck today. Man. I put it right there. I bought that grizzly machine. I'll tell you what. I bought that grizzly machine. I got in the truck. I got in my truck. I wanted a milling machine. You know what I mean? Somehow in life it came onto me, my being, that I should own a milling machine. That I should spend money on a milling machine. Okay, I got in my truck and I drove up yonder to Springfield, Missouri, to Grizzly Store, because I had already looked at their catalog, and to see a picture of a machine in a catalog and then see it in real life sometimes is deceiving. So I wanted to go there and look at the machines and touch them and decide which one I wanted. Okay, I didn't have the money right that day, so I gets in the truck and I goes up there and I looks at them and I says, right there's the one I want. When I can buy that. So I guess I worked for some overtime or something like that, and felt that I'd saved up some money and I could buy that milling machine. So I called on the telephone to Grizzly and I ordered it. And they sent it to me here on a semi-truck, and I went over yonder to the terminal and offloaded it over on... No, actually I do pick that up with a forklift and set it on my truck. And I brought it home, backed the truck up to the door right there, and got that milling machine off of that truck into the floor, and I took it apart, 3 pieces. Don't remember now, you know, like it was a base down here, and then the spindle, and then the head part or the motor or something. Anyways, it made it where I could handle it. And I got a big pipe up yonder, and that's an asset in a shop, is overhead built-in heavy supports, and there's two of them, one right here and one down there, and they're 2-inch Schedule 80 pipe that runs from outside there and outside here, so the wall on both sides is carrying the whole load, and there's a stud right there underneath them. It's really, really strong. Can pick up anything, you know, pull the truck up in here and hook it up, you know, I mean, you off the ground. That's all I'm going to say about that. And but one of them runs over halfway between the lathe and the milling machine. So I picked that up, and I picked it up at an angle. I put the chain hoist back here, chained it tight, and then came down, and I had a piece of plywood right there, and I hooked onto that thing and picked it up, and when it got up to the top, then I let it swing free till it settled down a little bit, and I could line it up and let it back down into place. You know, base and then spindle and then the motor, and but anyways, the way it worked out, it was quite easy at the time. But now I got to move that thing. You know what I mean? Gosh, I got to move that. Gosh, man, that thing's heavy too, and it's top heavy. It's the problem. Whew. Man, I got to move that. Man, if I had a pipe that would come up through there on like one of them bobcats that had a pipe sticking out, and I could pull right up there and pick that up and then back out that way. I don't think I could build something to do that. I'm just going to pick it up. That's what I'm going to do again. Okay, that's what I'm going to. Okay, I'm just going to tell you about this, being that I'm thinking about it, because I got to do it pretty soon. So what I'm going to do is put the chain hoist over here, right up there, and chain it tight, you know, off enough to where that it will, the bench that it's on, I'll offset it enough to where that once it picks it up and it swings over this way, then I can let it down to the floor. Once I get down there on a piece of plywood, actually I could build a little sled deal, you know, some 2x4s or something, a little skid-like thing, and set it down on that, and then I can take that come along and snatch it out the door yonder up onto the truck. So we got a plan. Now we just got to have a place to put it once I get up here to the bell buckle. Man, there's a lot of stuff in here to move. I mean, we still this engine right here. I think there's 21 engine on carts, and this one right here will be on a cart. You know what I mean? The cart's sitting in there. It's an extra cart. So, I mean, they're not all internationals, but you know they're pretty nice. You know, I think I got a stover and some Fairbanks and them little LAs and LBs, some really nice ones. You know, 1936, back when they was gray. You know.